access, and I'll be the next co-operator for tonight. Now, I'll be operating under the club call sign W0SRC, the St. Louis and Suburban Radio Club, Tuesday night at 8 here on the 146.850 repeater each week at 7:30 p.m. Central Time, and is intended to exchange information of interest to the greater St. Louis amateur radio community and to maintain a condition of readiness by calling for station check-in. All amateur radio operators are invited to participate, and please note that CBCSS tone of 141.3 is required access to this repeater. For more information about SLSRC, including events and memberships, go online at www.slsrc.org. Now, is there any emergency or priority traffic? If so, please call W0SRC. Check-ins for tonight's match. I will start tonight's match with the question of the week. I will then ask for short-time check-ins, followed by echo-link check-ins. While checking in, your advice answers the question. After echo-link check-ins, While checking in, your advice answers the question. After echo-link check-ins, I will ask for regular check-ins. Following the regular check-ins, we will open the net for comments, answers to the question of the week, and swap net items. We will conclude the net with amateur radio newsline reports. Tonight's question of the week is, have you made a special event station contact? And if so, what was the best special contact? Now, for short time check-ins, please call now and use phonetic alphabet.
Kilo Charlie 0 Sierra Delta Victor Cliff. Short time, but Stephen put me on the announcement list if you would. DRA, a regular check-in, not short time.
Excuse me, I got N0CRA. I think I got it wrong. Can you please repeat that?
Kilo 0 Delta Romeo Alpha. Regular check-in, not short time.
Short time check-ins, please call now.
Kilo Foxtrot 0 Bravo Victor Tango Dell. Short time. Sierra Echo David Clayton and no.
Delta 0 Charlie India Victor Dolores. Well, it's been a while since I contacted special investigations, but those I did contact.
This is Whiskey 0 Echo Oscar W0EO. And answer the question, yes.
Stop right there. First up, we have K0FT Cliff, and I put him down for announcement. Then we have K0CRA and KF0PCC, KP0CIV, and W0EO. Is there any other short-time check-ins?
November 0 Alpha Foxtrot. This is Bob. Short time and yes to the question. This is Kilo Echo 0 Victor Yankee Delta Josh, and I missed the question.
Well, Josh, the question of the week is, have you made a special event station contact? And if you did, what was the best special event contact you have made so far? This is W0SRC, over. retired naval vessel out in California. That was exciting. Very cool. Is there any other short time check-ins?
KD0WAN Bill, South County, yes. USS Iowa in San Pedro, California. Kilo Delta 9 Echo Lima Uniform, Eric in Dupo. Special event station was the Navajo Code Talkers.
Kilowatt, Foxtrot, 0, Echo, Sierra, Echo, David, I think maybe you got my call wrong, but never done a special event. Thank you.
W0SRC, we had N0AF, KE0DYD, KD0WAN, KD9ELU, and then a correction, KFDS. Is there any corrections on any of the call signs? Short time check-ins before we move on to echo and check-ins. Hearing none, we will move on to echo and check-ins.
This is N0LCH, November 0, Lima Charlie Hotel, Mars, St. Charles, and no is my answer to the question.
Kilo, Echo, 0, Lima, Delta. Larry, UBH, California. Did you see me on the net? Answer the question, no. I'll be back to net. Kilo, Foxtrot, 0, Charlie, Tango, Romeo, Jeff in Crestwood. The question, back to net.
November, Mike 5, Papa Bravo, Peter, Northeast Albuquerque. And yes to the question, every year the Indy 500.
W0SRC, first up for echoing check-in, is N0LCH, then KE0LB, KF0CTR, then NM5CD. Is there any other echoing check-in? We'll move on to stations with SLSRC related announcements or announcements of general interest to the net. And Cliff, I have you down. But if there is any others, please call W0SRC. Call now.
Charlie 9, Charlie, Kilo, Bill.
Other
repeat, I think, what I said last week about welcoming 4 new hams to the hobby. They were in our virtual class that Paul KC0CBL and I had starting in February and ending in March. Mark Root, KF0, I lost his call sign, KF0ETI, and he was formerly KB6AGH in California several years ago, and I think he's going to get the vanity of that call sign back again. Brett Johnson, KF0ETL, Fred Reinecke, KF0ETF, and Matt Heimlich, KF0ETJ. That's 4. And there are 2 more that were in the class, in the sessions. I'll say these were virtual Google Meet sessions that were out of town for the session of the 20th, so they'll be taking it the 10th, the Cliff Cave VE this Saturday, so we may have 2 more to add. Also, study guides, my standard announcement about study guides, all 3 levels, technician, general, and excellent. Education at SLSRC.org. Education at SLSRC.org, and we'll send you the study guides. And as far as VE testing, Cliff Cave, VE.com. There's the first April session is this Saturday, and there's information on the website, their website, cliffcaveve.com, as to time, location, and what you need to bring in advance. And also a save the date for April, not April, the first Friday in May. We just had the one last Friday. The mentoring workshop, which is here on the repeater at 7 o'clock on the first Friday of each month. And that's where you have a question or want suggestions or advice on new equipment or old equipment or what do you want to do with this or what can I do with that. So there'll be an email coming out on the website as we get closer to that date. So this is just to save the date. First Friday every month through September. And you can also, in advance, email questions that we'll put those first in line on the net. I mean, I'm calling it a net, but it's a quote meeting. Education at SLSRC.org. And the answer to my question is I haven't been on HF in about a year and a half, and I don't remember if I did a contest, a special event or not. Back to you, W0SRC. Thank you, Stephen. K0STV.
Thank you for the announcements, Cliff. Next up is KC9CIK. Go ahead.
Couple of announcements. The first is, so we know that our next club meeting is on April 23rd. Bob Heil will be our presenter. And with Bob, one of the things you know that you will hear during his presentation is how amateur radio is influenced him and his life, how he got involved in what he does because of amateur radio. Also, membership. Currently, one of the things I'm looking at is we are sitting on 99 amateur extra membership. I would like an amateur extra who is not a member to join that club, and let's bump that up to 100. Of course, anybody else wants to join the club, I don't care what license class you have, but it's good for the club. It helps us maintain the repeaters. We still have financial obligations from the club that have to be dealt with, even though we are in COVID times. And I think that might be all I have right now.
Thank you for the announcement, Bill. Is there any other stations with SLSRC announcements before we move on to regular check-ins?
Recheck if I might, Stephen.
Go ahead, Cliff.
SLSRC.org is posted. I don't know. I think the email's going out or already gone out about the Thursday session, the kit building that Brenda sent out. So SLSRC.org is going to be a beam antenna, 2-meter tape-measure beam antenna. So either check your email or check SLSRC.org. I believe it's the first one on the first topic on the screen there.
available for the comment period. Answers to the question of the loop, slot net, and the remainder of the net. The slot net is only for amateur radio-related items, including speakers and accessories. Please check in with your call sign, standard phonetic, and your first name. Regular check-in, please call now.
November 0, Uniform India Hotel, Eric in Hazelwood.
Kilo 0, Delta, Romeo, Alpha, Doug in St. Charles.
Hotel 2, Oscar Papa, Charlie in Baldwin.
Whiskey 0, Romeo, Lima, Roland.
Kilo 8, Alpha, Lima, Hearts, and Cream Core, and the answer is no.
This is Whiskey 0, Echo Oscar, Richard in West County.
Stop right there, so I can relay the call sign. First up, K0DRA, checked in twice, short time, but now checked in regular, so I'll scratch one of those off. Then N0UIH, K82OP, W0RL, K8ALL, and W0EO. Is there any other regular check-ins?
Recheck, Stephen.
So, do you want me to put you on to regular?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and do regular, but I realize that we missed a couple of announcements, so I'm going to backtrack you just a second here. Sorry about that. I wanted to remind everybody that SLSRC has teamed up with Gold Medal Ideas, and so you can go to our website and go to the quick link, SLSRC logo merchandise, and purchase hats, shirts, cups, or services type things, and even a name badge with the club logo on it. Also, most of those you can also order your call sign on them too. And then, as always, we do encourage people to use Amazon Smile, because if you list SLSRC as a charitable event, we get some money from that, and it doesn't cost you a thing when you are ordering from Amazon anyway, in most of our cases. And I think now that covers it. Come back to me on the regular check-ins, and I'll do my other answers. Casey, that's the idea.
First up for regular check-in, we have K0DRA. Go ahead.
Hey, Doug here, K0DRA. Well, just got home today. I had a short shift in AutoZone today, and work just 4 hours tomorrow, and then I go off Thursday and work 4 hours on Friday. Like that little job. It pays for stuff at the trailer. Ordered a soft start module for the air conditioner. I'll get that installed probably over the weekend. Yes, the most memorable special events check-in was the Indy 500 plus all the other races that qualified me for what they call the Checkered Flag Award. I got the Checkered Flag Award. It's framed here in my shack, and that was fun. That was fun. I like special event stations, and I've worked a lot of submarines, battleships, the Queen Mary, but I guess that was the most memorable one. I got the Checkered Flag Award for working so many races. You had to work about, I think it was 5 races, and I worked all 5, and I got the Checkered Flag Award, so that was kind of fun. Doug here, K0DRA, St. Charles, Missouri.
For your comments, those all sound really cool. If I ever get my HF set up, right now I'm only at CHF and I'm only a technician, but if I get general and get a
not only you are a technician. Take the only word out. K0DRH.
Okay, thanks, Doug, for reminding him of that. Hi. This is November 0 Uniform India Hotel. And we had a few special event stations that we did. One I remember that we did was commemorating the anniversary of Charles Lindbergh's flight across the Atlantic from New York to Paris. But my favorite one was the one celebrating the 100th anniversary of the Royal Canadian Navy, using the call sign Charlie Foxtrot 3, November Alpha Victor Yankee. I worked that one on 40 meters. Well, anyway, we're getting I finally were getting a new roof put on today, and they had changed the day on us, so we're getting it next Tuesday, and the weather forecast calls for sunny skies and temperatures in the mid-60s next Tuesday. And I've already taken delivery of some stuff that will be used for to remount the antennas. I've already got the replacement tripod mount for my VHS ham radio antennas, and the chimney mount for my scanner antenna. Also have some brand new rotor cable on the way, and hopefully by the end of the month I'll be back on HF. I have an ICOM 718 on back order, and the good news is I finally got my COVID shot appointment. I'm getting that 2 weeks from Thursday, my first shot, through St. Luke's. And I signed up also through BJC and SSM, and BJC really dropped the ball there. I was lucky to get it in through St. Luke's. So I still have a few more speeds to order before everything gets put back up. So I'll send it back to net control. This is November 0, Uniform India Hotel.
Go ahead.
Kilo Hotel 2, Oscar Papa. Good evening to you and to the net. From Charlie, K2OP, and I'm just pondering here. First of all, thank you to my Albuquerque brother Peter for reminding me about the Speedway special event. That probably and more than likely is the last thing I worked for a special event. It's been kind of dull around here. And hopefully we'll all have some better things to come as the band loosens up and we get underway with this sunspot cycle. So that's about it for me. Nothing, no specialities, and but just having a good time wherever possible. So that's it. Back to you from Kilo Hotel 2, Oscar Papa.
Because I got here too late to check in short time, so I checked in regular time. Anyway, what is that question?
Of the week is, have you made a special event station contact? And if you did, what was the best special event contact you've made?
think of one. I know there was one in the early to mid 70s when, believe it or not, it was about 1972, late in the year, I'm thinking, because I had my Yaesu FTDX 100 transceiver sitting on the floor with a wire plugged into the center of the coax connector and another wire from the chassis stretched out for a 15-meter antenna. And I was on there and worked a special event station that was the General Motors Institute. And it had a special call sign. It was an M call sign, and I don't remember, maybe it wasn't N. Those weren't available to ham radio yet. Probably was a K. And it ended in GMI, and that was one of the first times the FCC let anybody pick a suffix to use. That's the one that comes to mind. Go ahead.
Sounds interesting. All right, thank you for your comment. Next up, we have K8ALL. Go ahead, Art. I think your name is Art. I'm not sure.
Yes, Stephen, you are correct. This is Art, K8ALL. And like you, Stephen, I've been a technician up to this point, got my general now, and I'm waiting for some HF equipment to show up. So no special stations out there connections yet. I'm looking forward to it, though. Back to that, K8ALL.
Thank you, Art. Next up, we have W0EO.
All right, good evening, Stephen. Everybody on the net tonight. This is W0EO. Name is Richard, and I'm in West County. Answers the question very I answered it when I was short time is, many special event stations. I don't really have anyone who was really special to me, but worked a lot of them through the years. But anyway, what I have to talk about is that I don't know what Suburban is doing for field day this year. You may have your hands tied because of what the county health department wants to do with county parks. But our small group, Whiskey Zero Queen Japan, Midwest Cemetery Club, we went down last Sunday and checked out a private farm that one of our members is part of, and down in DeSoto. And just kind of did a scanning of where we're going to put our antennas. But our group is definitely going to be doing field day outside in a outdoor arena of fresh air. We're not staying at home this year. We're not doing it from home. We're not doing that. We're going to be doing field day outside. And what a lovely place to have this. We're about 700 feet above sea level in DeSoto. And we're going to be doing field day outside with a couple tents and a couple generators that we have. And I'm really looking forward to it because field day is a lot of fun to all of us, and we love it. So I hope whatever the county does, you guys can do it as well for whatever you guys do. I really do. I hope it works out. Other than that, the good news about the COVID-19 virus vaccination for my wife, I had mine about a month and a half ago because I'm an essential worker in the medical field. But my wife is about 10 years younger than me, and she's scheduled now at St. Luke's on tomorrow, as a matter of fact, at the new clinic there out at Chesterfield Mall. And she's scheduled tomorrow afternoon to get her first shot, so I'm really happy for her, and I'm glad it's going to be done finally. Because I know she's been wanting one, and I think April 7th was the date that they were opening it up to everybody, no matter if you're 16 years or older. So that's good news for her, and I'm glad she's going to get it tomorrow. Other than that, just been working on some antennas. I'm waiting to get a roof installed as well. I got the tile set up there. Probably going to happen this Friday from what the construction company says, so we'll see. I hope it does. I want to get this done. My rooftop tower is already reconditioned with a new thrust bearing, all ready to go. And And once that gets done, I'll be able to start constructing the new 40-meter beam I want to put together for Mosley I got here. So other than that, that's what I'll have net control. Good evening to everybody, and I hope everybody has a great week. Stay healthy and stay safe. This is W0EO.
W0SRC. Now, is there any late or missed check-ins before we move on to move on? Late or missed check-ins? Please go ahead.
IEL, late check-in. KC9CIK, don't forget about me.
Sorry, Bill, I forgot to go to you. KE0IEO, I have you down. Bill, I completely skipped over you. I forgot to let you answer the question of the week. KC9CIK, please go ahead.
It's okay, Stephen. I've been married a long time. It's not the first time that's happened to me. Special event station. Even if you are limited to technician frequencies, you can still do special event stations. And my favorite was when St. Louis and Suburban Radio Club did a special event station. Let's see, it was third week of October in 2010, and it was for the Arch, 45 years of the St. Louis Arch being completed, and I managed to make that contact on 2 meters with that special event station, W0A, and that's my story. KC9CIK, back to net control.
Is there any other late or missed check-ins?
No problem, Steve. W0SRC from Kilo Delta Zero, India Echo Lima, in West County. And the answer to the question of the week is yes. Many. My favorite one, I think, including what Bill just mentioned, certainly the favorite, but also the 4th of July. 13 colonies, the 13 colonies special event. I work every year and typically work all 13 states on multiple bands. And one year I worked one state on every band, HF, 160 meters. A little difficult, but I got it done. And the next control operator on the other end was somebody that I actually knew. Better. And I also had a special event station that I operated called K9I, Kilo 9 India. We did that during the eclipse in, I think, 2017, I believe. I'm not sure the year. But the QRZ still has the site up. So if you're interested, look at it. It gives you a little information about the location. We actually activated an island at that island at that time as well. Kyle just happened to be there. So he had different call sign at the time. But A0Z was on site and also working stations at that location. So that's about it, Stephen. Thanks for the late check-in, and back to net control, W0SRC 80IDL.
Thank you for checking in, and I'll go back to KE0IEO if that person wants to answer the question of the week, if he or she is still there.
That was me, Stephen. You probably just misheard the call sign, or I fumbled it. C0IEL.
That's your call sign. I don't know why I thought you were a boy or a girl. I don't know. I just remember writing down the the voice, sorry. Now it's time, oh, I forgot. Is there any other late or missed check-ins? W0SRC. Before we start Amateur Radio Newsline, a reminder to check the latest club information and amateur radio news at www.slsrc.org. Do not forget that you can also follow the club through Facebook and Twitter at www.facebook.com/SLSRC and at twitter.com/SLSRC. You're invited to attend the monthly meetings of SLSRC at 7 p.m. on the fourth Friday of each month. And the next meeting is scheduled for Friday, April 23rd at 7 p.m. With thanks for Evan to Max, K0AZD, and to Kyle, AA0D, for uploading Newsline. Here is Amateur Radio Newsline on W0SRC. One moment, let's type it in.
Newsline report number 2266 with a release date of Friday, April 2nd, 2021, to follow in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The following is a QST. The UK prepares to resume in-person license exams. A worldwide balloon launch marks the equinox. And the Last Man Standing special event goes out with a bang. All this and more as Amateur Radio Newsline report number 2266 comes your way right now.
From around the world, this is Newsline, Amateur Radio's independent on-the-air news and bulletin service. Now, reporting from Bloomington, Indiana, here's Neil Rapp, WB9 VPG.
Our top story takes us to a frozen Arctic island where the rewards of a physically grueling de-expedition included something even more than the thousands of contacts logged by the team. Graham Kemp, VK4BB, brings us that story.
The RI-0Q de-expeditioners have arrived back on the mainland following a challenging but successful activation of the rare Arctic iota AS-152. The island, named Bolshoi Begachev after its discoverer Nikifor Begachev in 1908, held many discoveries for the team during their one-week activation. Challenges included making a large part of the trip by snowmobile. Once they arrived on March 20, they remained constantly vigilant for polar bears, wolves and incoming blizzards, especially as they were setting up for operations. By March 26, as the activation was winding down, they were able to enter into their online diary that they logged 6,913 QSOs, representing more than 4,000 unique call signs. Their departure came just as the blizzard was supposed to come blasting in. There was one event they did not miss, however, nor did they want to miss it because it was spectacular. DX WorldNet reported on its Twitter feed March 27, and I quote, "The RI-0Q team are already back on the mainland. As they left the island, the northern lights started to show. Looks like they left at the right time." End quote. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Graham Kemp, VK4BB.
Congratulations to the activators of the Last Man Standing special event, which went QRT on Wednesday, March 30th. Starting on March 24th, the team logged more than 85,000 QSOs, contacting 1,850 counties in 50 states and 138 countries. There were 134 contacts using moonbounce, and yes, there were pileups. The multi-mode effort was also a multimedia one, featuring live streaming of operators as they smoothly navigated pileups. Coordinated by Lou Macchio, NO2C, and Sally Rosato, K2RYD, of the Great South Bay Amateur Radio Club, and the show's executive producer, John Amadeo, AA6JA, it was an experience many of the dozens of operators in both the U.S. and Canada said will remain with them even as the studio goes dark after the show's final day of production. Last Man Standing featured Tim Allen, KK60TD, as Mike Baxter, KA0XTD, and was celebrated for putting amateur radio in a positive light in the public eye. In the UK, the Radio Society of Great Britain has resumed booking in-person exams. Jeremy Boot, G4NJH, gives us those details.
Examiners in the UK have begun planning the resumption of exams for amateur radio candidates wishing to sit them in a club setting with an in-person invigilation. With this in mind, the Radio Society of Great Britain said it anticipates booking for the in-person exams from club examination secretaries once the government has lifted all COVID-19 restrictions in their part of the UK. The booking process is expected to be more streamlined than previously. The remote invigilations, which began last year during the pandemic lockdown, will continue as an option. Mandatory practical assessments at foundation level will remain suspended until a review led by the Examination Standards Committee and the Exam and Syllabus Review Group can determine their long-term future, clarifying whether they should continue and if so in what form. In yet another sign of post-COVID life in the UK, the RSGB Contest Committee began accepting portable entries in contests from stations in England, provided the stations strictly follow local COVID measures. England dropped its stay-at-home restriction on the 29th of March, meaning portable operations can resume. The RSGB cautions, however, that portable multi-operator entries must comprise people from the same households because vans, cars and tents are considered indoor environments and indoor mixing of households is still prohibited. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
In other business that has caught Newsline's attention, Paul Devlin, G1SMP, the joint winner with the Radio Society of Great Britain of the 2020 Amateur Radio Newsline International Newsmaker of the Year Award for the Get on the Air to Care public campaign, is standing for election as a director of the RSGB board at the upcoming AGM in April. As there are two nominees for two positions, I think we can say Paul will be elected. And we at Newsline would like to be the first to congratulate Paul and wish him well in his new role. In Alabama, where tornadoes raged through part of the landscape in late March, one radio amateur made an especially painful discovery about the importance of preparedness. Randy Sly, W4XJ, brings us that story.
James Spann, W04W, is no stranger to severe weather. As chief meteorologist for WBMA in Birmingham, Alabama, he is a familiar TV face during tornado activations, always reminding viewers that they need a severe weather plan. In fact, when he and his wife built a new home a few years ago, they included a storm shelter. Last week, tornadoes and other severe weather pummeled the state, wrecking buildings and killing at least 5 people in one county. During his report on a long track of violent storms, he suddenly said, "What I'm doing is texting my wife to be sure she's in the shelter." He moved off camera with a coworker taking over. Rejoining less than 15 minutes later, he shared some bad news with his viewers. His home was hit by a tornado. "The reason I had to step out," he explained, "we had major damage at my house. I had to be sure. My wife is okay, but the tornado came right through there, and it's not good. It's bad. It's bad." However, their preparedness made the difference. "My wife got the warning," he said. "She had a plan. She was in the shelter, and she's fine." Then Spann went back to work, making sure others would be informed and safe, too. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Randy Sly, W4XJ.
If you missed the Hamsai virtual event, which was live streamed on March 19th, 19th and 20th. You can attend via YouTube, where video recordings of the workshops are now available. This is the second year HAMSI went virtual in response to the global pandemic. The free program, supported by the National Science Foundation and the University of Scranton, featured presenters on such topics as personal space weather stations, mid-latitude sporadic heat, weak signal VHF propagation, and related topics. A link to the recorded programming for days 1 and 2 can be found in the printed version of this week's newscast script at arnewsline.org. Spring in the Northern Hemisphere isn't just about flowers waking up and starting to bloom. It's also about balloons. Mike Askins, KE5CXP, explains.
When the medium-altitude balloon launched by science teacher Joe Gravante took to the sky on March 20th from an upstate New York junior high school, the event was part of a wide-ranging celebration dispatching 14 such balloons, linking students and teachers involved in STEM activities worldwide. In what was called the Equinox Balloon Launch, each balloon carried a lightweight Skytracker, APRS, and WSTR payload, all solar-powered. They were launched from various spots in the U.S., Argentina, and Australia on paths that 1 week later had them sailing over Siberia, China, and South Africa. After the launch at Winburn Middle School in Kentucky, science teacher Jenny McCall and Ron Malinowski, WX4GPS, later tracked a balloon named Bessie over southern Siberia, heading into Mongolia. Although it's not spring in his part of the world, the launch even attracted involvement by Melbourne teacher Greg Hellard. Bill Brown, WB8ELK, the designer of the Skytracker technology, said the launches were coordinated by Washington State High School teacher Trevor McDuff, KS1LAS, with the help from Los Angeles science educator Joanne Michael, KM6BWB. The enthusiasm, however, needed no coordination at all. In fact, Joanne posted on Facebook that befitting a project that involved students, it was a textbook launch. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Mike Askins, KE5CXP.
Time for you to identify your station. We are the Amateur Radio Newsline, heard on bulletin stations around the world, including WA5AIR, the Texas Link System, which carries Newsline on 7 repeaters on Wednesdays and Saturdays at 7 p.m. local time.
You're listening to the Amateur Radio News on the W0SRC repeater, St. Louis, Missouri, 146.85 megahertz, and PL tone of 141.3. Echo link node 396891, alpha 40145.
Do you have an opinion on radio spectrum use in Australia? Well, the Australian Communications and Media Authority wants to hear from you. Here's John Williams, VK4JJW.
The ACMA is looking for input on a draft of its 5-year spectrum plan, a key document that will guide its priorities in allocating and managing frequencies in the years ahead. The proposed changes are being drawn up in consultation with members of the telecommunications industry, radio hobbyists, and others in the community. This is the first such draft to be created under the Radio Communications Legislation Amendment, Reform and Modernisation Act of 2020. Priorities are expected to be heavily impacted by the ACMA's goal to support deployment of 5G services throughout Australia. A review is also ongoing to replace apparatus licenses with non-assigned amateur licensing arrangements as a way of keeping licensees' costs affordable and to reduce the burden on regulators. The ACMA has a number of options for replacing the current apparatus license, but prefers the establishment of non-assigned amateur and outpost stations under a class license. The agency also plans to review the prospect of creating licenses for higher power operations and intends to consult with the amateur community on this issue. Feedback may be submitted to the ACMA no later than April 28th. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm John Williams, VK4JJW.
The Ogden Amateur Radio Club, one of Utah's oldest ham radio clubs, bears the call sign of its founder, Dr. W. Glenn Garner, W7FU. He became its first president shortly after its founding 100 years ago this May. The club is marking its centennial with an array of activities, including a special event station in May and a centennial QSL card contest for its members. Newsline congratulates the Ogden Amateurs on 100 great years. IARU Region 1 is assessing its future and hoping for a younger perspective. Here's Ed Durant, DD5LP, to tell us what's up next.
Faced with eroding enrollment in many of its member societies, IARU Region 1 has begun organising a workshop on keeping amateur radio vibrant as licensees age. Discussions about the workshop were held at its general conference on March 24th. The workshop itself will be held in October of this year, hosted by the Serbian Amateur Radio Society. If COVID restrictions are still in place at the time, the workshop will be conducted virtually instead. Participants are particularly concerned about the lack of top leadership among amateurs 35 and younger. The committee wrote on the IARU website, quote, "The IARU Region 1 Executive Committee shares that it's time for change and we need to start moving forward, working together and changing the current trends. We need to focus our thinking and way of operating," end quote. Towards that end, the committee said it was committed to bringing new people into the discussion. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Ed Durant, DD5LP.
RF control links being used at 420 and 430 megahertz to set up a linked repeater system in New Mexico are being cited as potential sources of interference to critical systems at the nearby White Sands Missile Range, the largest open-air test range of the United States Department of Defense. The department's regional spectrum coordinator, the FCC, and the ARRL worked together to track down the amateur radio communications, which were discovered to come from the repeater system's RF control links on 70 centimeters. Amateur radio is a secondary service on the band. The owners of the control links have been asked to re-coordinate the frequencies by May 31st. A popular net among the youngest amateurs in New Zealand just got a little bigger and a little more ambitious. Jim Meechan, ZL2BHF, tells us how they're growing.
Like everything that starts out in life, young and small, the net formerly known as Young Transmitters New Zealand has grown up. It has rebranded and expanded to become the Iota Oceania Net. The net's founder, Thomas Bernard, ZL3TOM, announced the change in a recent newsletter, telling Newsline that the net is now run in partnership with youngsters on the air. Recognizing that, participants hope to connect with other hands in more regions than before. The net is held Mondays at 0600 UTC on All-Star and Echolink. Tom uses the specially meant call sign ZL6YOTA during the net to encourage more young amateurs to check in. For more information about the net and ways to join this growing community, visit his website at ZL3TOM.com. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Jim Meechan, ZL2BHF.
In the world of DX, Matthew M0ZMS has announced he will be heading to the Falkland Islands at the end of April and hopes to get on the air from this rare DX using the call sign VP8ZMS. He may also use the call sign VP8RAF on occasion. Matthew will be promoting awareness of the Royal Air Force Amateur Radio Society. Matthew is the serving members representative of the society and will be deploying to the British Forces South Atlantic Islands Mount Pleasant Complex for the activation. Find his operating details and other information on the Twitter page for VP2ZMS. He will QSL on Logbook The World and Club Log and will issue paper QSL cards upon his return to the UK after August. Be listening for John MW1CFN operating as GB1004FTS from Angsley Island off the Welsh mainland's northwest coast until April 8th. He is marking the 100th anniversary of the Royal Air Force's No. 4 Flying Training School. Listen for him on various HF bands as well as 6 and 2 meters. He will be using single sideband and the digital modes. Send QSLs directly to his home call. Danish radio amateurs are active with 2 special call signs, OZ75BO and OZ75MAY until April 11th to mark the 75th anniversary of the liberation of Bornholm Island following the end of World War II. Be listening on all bands, including the work bands, where operators will be using CW, single sideband, and all the digital modes. Operators on the island itself will be using the OZ75BO call. Send QSLs via OZ1ACB or Club Logs OQRS. Operators prefer to not receive a paper QSL card. A special award is available. We end this week with the story of a grateful graduate of an Indiana college. He and his wife have given the school the gift of amateur radio. Here's Dave Parks, WB8 ODF, with that story.
Bill Becker, AA8RW, may have graduated from college in Indiana in 1950, but to a small group of undergrads studying there now, he is indisputably the big man on campus. During Bill's time as a radio engineering student, the Angola, Indiana school was known as Tri-State College. Today its name is Trine University, and its campus is where the Michigan resident and his wife Helen, KG8TQ, recently helped awaken the Students Amateur Radio Club from dormancy by donating money and equipment. Many of the 15 members are studying electrical engineering as Bill did, or other forms of engineering and information technology. When they're not tending to their academic obligations, they're hosting the weekly net of the Trine University Amateur Radio Club. According to the university's website, the young hams are also mentoring would-be licensees and building new equipment and antennas. The club's president, Tim Mayer, KD2TCP, licensed for 2 years and majoring in mechanical engineering, said the club also hopes to get involved next in EME and satellite communications. The students can look forward to aiming for the sky because of this generous husband and wife who never forgot the thrill of keying the mic or sending some CW and discovering the world. Said faculty advisor Kevin Wolverton, KW9S. Without them, it wouldn't have been possible to start and continue. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Dave Parks, WB8ODF.
With thanks to the ACMA, Amateur News Weekly, the ARRL, Bill Brown, WBADLK, CQ Magazine, David Behar, K7DB, DXWorld.net, HamSci, IARU Region 1, Last Man Standing Special Event, RI0Q Online Diary, Trine University, Ogden Amateur Radio Club, Ohio Penn DX Newsletter, QRZ.com, Radio World, Radio Society of Great Britain, Southgate Amateur Radio News, ShortwaveRadio.de, Twitter, Ted Randall's QSO Radio Show, the Wireless Institute of Australia, WTWW Shortwave, and you, our listeners. That's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline. Please send emails to our address at newsline@arnewsline.org. More information is available at Amateur Radio Newsline's only official website at
SLSRC. Is there any late or missed check-in before we end the net?
Rights 2021. All rights reserved.
W0SRC. W0SRC. Node 1085. Timeout.
Newsline got me there. Is there any late or missed check-ins before we end the net? Is there any final announcements before we end the net? Remember to always check our website at www.slsrc.org for the most up-to-date club information. All right, 73s to everyone who checked in, and this 73s from W0SRC. Clear. Left off.